Good morning. Today is Friday, September 13th. This is Wake Up with KERA News. Hi there, I'm Andrew Garcia. With today being Friday the 13th, the early release of the pumpkin spice latte, and the emergence of spirit Halloweens in abandoned department stores everywhere, I think it's pretty safe to say we're entering spooky season. Though luckily, staying informed doesn't have to be scary. Let's get into today's news. Flight attendants with American Airlines have approved a new 5-year deal with the Fort Worth-based carrier. The new contract includes raises up to 20% and pay while flights are boarding. Before, flight attendants didn't start earning money until the flight took off. Three people were injured in a shooting at the Continental Building in downtown Dallas yesterday afternoon. Dallas police said the victims are receiving medical care. Dallas ISD confirmed to the Dallas Morning News that one of the victims was a student and is expected to make a full recovery. The conditions of the other two are currently unknown. As of Thursday evening, police were still looking for the shooter. We're at a time in the U.S. where religion, particularly Christianity, seems deeply ingrained in our government and public institutions. Take Tuesday, when the Texas State Board of Education met to discuss a newly proposed Bible-focused curriculum for Texas public schools. And that's just one example. At the same time, recent polling from the Pew Research Center found that 80% of U.S. adults think religion is playing a smaller role in American life than before. All this got us thinking about how people's faith may be influencing how they're thinking about the election in November. The Texas Newsroom's Blaise Gainey took a look at where we are today and how we got here.
This last Sunday, Pastor Robert Jeffers began his sermon at First Baptist Dallas with a sentiment that might resonate with everyone at this point in election season.
Today, we're going to talk about politics. Yuck!
Jeffers went on to tell his congregation, which has upwards of 16,000 members, that religion and politics are inseparable.
God created government. Government is God's creation. Genesis chapter 9. After the flood, God gave to Noah the building block of government. The purpose of government was to restrain evil and to protect people, innocent people.
That's not just coming from the pulpit. A few days after the assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump, Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick joined Praise, a show on Trinity Broadcasting Network. Patrick, one of the state's top Republicans, quoted the book of Jeremiah while describing the shooting at the Trump campaign event in Pennsylvania.
For I will surely save you, and you shall not fall by the sword, but you shall have your life as a prize of war, because you have put your trust in me, declares the Lord.
If you regularly follow the news, that kind of religious messaging from Texas leaders like Patrick probably doesn't surprise you. Andrea Hatcher teaches political science at the University of the South. She traces the GOP's embrace of religion back to the 1970s.
The Christian right didn't just happen organically. It was a creation of religious elites and political elites that saw how religion could be leveraged by the Republican Party for political power to benefit them both.
Hatcher says that played out in the U.S. Supreme Court's 2022 ruling overturning Roe v. Wade.
When you have 6 Catholics on the Supreme Court, and then all of a sudden they vote a particular way that happens to align with their religious views, does lead one to question whether that is individual religious beliefs affecting shaping policy outcomes for a religiously pluralistic nation at large.
Religious views affect policy perspectives across the political spectrum. A recent Gallup poll found that roughly 3 out of 4 Americans say they identify with a specific religious faith. State Representative James Tallarico is a Central Texas Democrat and a Christian. He says things like the Supreme Court's ruling on Roe don't follow his view of the Bible.
When I open my Bible, I see 2,000 verses about economic justice, and I see 0 about abortion. I see hundreds of verses about welcoming the stranger, lifting up the poor, treating your neighbors with respect, healing the sick.
These sorts of religious disagreements have been going on long before our current political battles. UT Austin government professor Eric McDaniel is concerned these differences can shut down meaningful conversations and compromise in Texas and nationwide.
What's happened is you've seen an increase in Christian fundamentalism. And the thing about fundamentalism is everything's black and white.
He says the country's current situation is best summed up by a quote from Reverend Al Sharpton,
where he said it's a battle between the Christian right and right Christians. I do think what you have in this one is a battle over fundamentalism versus moderation, and that the fundamentalism allows no gray room.
As Election Day draws closer, the political and religious rhetoric will surely intensify, underscoring the complex relationship between faith, politics, and what our state and national government will look like in the future.
That was the Texas Newsroom's Blaise Gainey reporting. Two Dallas teams will be hoping for some good luck this Friday, the 13th, as Dallas Trinity FC will be taking on Lexington Sporting Club at the Cotton Bowl, and the Dallas Wings will test their mettle against the Seattle Storm. And on Sunday, the Cowboys will have their home opener against the New Orleans Saints. Friends, Romans, countrymen, don't miss your chance to see Shakespeare Dallas's Julius Caesar through October 13th at the Samuel Grand Amphitheater. For tickets and more information, visit kera.org/calendar. Thank you once again for listening to Wake Up with KERA News on this Friday. I'm your host, Andrew Garcia. The show was produced and edited by Shardae White and Becca Moore. Big thanks to them. For more news in your inbox, visit kera.org/wakeup. That's where you can subscribe to the Wake Up with KERA News newsletter and get more good morning vibes from our colleague Catherine Hobbs. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at KERATX. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday.